I want to get over to Alligator Alcatraz. This came in from Fox News. This is Donald Trump as he is touring the now controversial migrant detention center, Alligator Alcatraz, going through with Ron DeSantis and some others. And this is just great. You can see that they're all in their finest trolling fashion today.
It's exactly transparently what the president has been talking about via the governor of Florida. And if we get a microphone that we can listen to, we will try. Let's try here.
Fast forward to here.
Of the great state and border state of Texas. Congressman, your thoughts as the president is there looking at this facility where they can house up to 5,000 of the worst of the worst.
The state is a disaster, and he doesn't do this.
Well, they have the original Alcatraz, so you guys could approve him being able to set one of these up over there.
DeSantis trolling hard. You've got the original Alcatraz. You know, you could set it up over there in California, but we can't set an Alligator Alcatraz up here. He's looking at the liberal hypocrisy here, and he's very upset by it.
I'm sure the secretary would be happy to do that and provide. My sense is he's probably not going to bite on that, but I don't know that they'd be able to come in at cost because they tried to do this high-speed rail. They spent like $150 billion, no tracks. We've got a privately funded rail in Florida from Miami to Orlando. It costs the taxpayers zero, and it's very successful. So it's just a much different approach between states.
We're not going to let him get anywhere near Alcatraz. And it cost 100 times more than they thought. Now, he ought to come here and study this because he could learn a lot.
So Trump saying they ought to come in from different states and study exactly how to set up these detention facilities, and they'll learn how to do it within a budget which makes sense so that they can remove the element of illegality from our society.
Person checking into the room, sir.
Tomorrow.
Hopefully tomorrow, within the next 24 hours.
They have the doctors, they have all the professionals.
There's going to be a security sweep because there have been civilians here, so they will sweep this multiple times to make sure there's nothing can be used as weapons or any contraband. And then once that's cleared, then they'll do. So it's really up to Secretary. I know has got people in the queue, and so they'll be ready to receive.
I think our viewers at home should note that this is air-conditioned facility. So if any of the news claims are keeping them out in the hot, humid South Florida, that is wrong. It's probably 62 degrees here.
To be honest. Hey, Biden wanted me in here, okay?
He's right. Biden did want him in there. So this is also an air-conditioned facility, not quite the monstrous facility the media made it out to be, is it?
It's a nice little waiting room for them before they go back to wherever they're from.
He wanted me. It didn't work out that way, but he wanted me in here, that son of a bitch.
That son of a bitch.
What this will do for the speed.
I love it when he goes off script like that.
A lot of things, and they're both telling me that these people come in here, they want to go home. And they want to go home, so we immediately send them home, where it's appropriate. Now, if somebody's a real killer, we don't send them anywhere. We put them in a maximum security. Look, what we inherited from this guy, this incompetent man, and his administration, which wasn't incompetent, it was radical left, lunatic, communist, whatever you want to say. I know most of them. What we inherited should never, ever be forgotten. What they've made us do. This is all because of an open border policy where 25 million people flowed in.
Now, I wish more people would talk about this. Facilities like this would not be necessary if we were doing border enforcement to begin with. We need to do border enforcement to begin with, and then we don't need to have Alligator Alcatraz in order to move illegals out of Florida, put them in a secure staging area so that we can start moving them out of the state. If Biden had done his job, we wouldn't have this problem to begin with and the many Democrat administrations before him.
From all over the world, from prisons, from all over the world, they flowed in. For no reason whatsoever. We had, when I left, we had a very powerful border. We had no problem. He opened it up day one. He just opened the border, and people couldn't believe it.
That's right.
They were standing there. What are they doing? They said, go in. That's it. You look at the first day tapes. They opened it up and they said, go in. And that's where all of this began.
And that's exactly what our Border Patrol has now told us. Border Patrol administrations and administration officials have come out and said that Biden essentially gave them stand down policies and open border policies, much to their frustration and chagrin.
This is an amazing thing that they've done here. Really
But listen, people don't have to come here. If they self-deport and go home, they can come back legally. We will let them come back legally.
And there is a lot of self-deportation.
Yes. But if you wait and we bring you to this facility, you don't ever get to come back to America. You don't get the chance to come back and be an American again and work here. So.
Right. So now we're getting into the major punishment. Not only will we put you in this facility, but when we send you back, you're not allowed to apply to come in legally. So self-deport now. Get out of here now, and then apply the correct way to come back.
They weren't with us when the President and the Secretary Kevin and I, we went through the intake. So right when you do the intake, they have the information about voluntary departure. They have the ability. Obviously, you guys are funding that because it's a lot cheaper to do it that way. So even if they get brought to the front doorstep here, they still have an opportunity to just go back voluntarily, and then this way they're not.
Let's say they get in here like, hey, I want to stay here, I want to go back.
We can put them on a plane that day and take them home. We'll buy their plane ticket, go home, and then they get the chance to come back legally.
Talk about every opportunity. Every opportunity given, even if they get caught before they have to come to this facility, they can still self-deport and will buy their plane ticket back to their home nation so they can reapply. You couldn't be more fair than this to people who aren't supposed to be here to begin with. And the left is still bitching about it as though it's a humanitarian crisis.
Imagine someone breaks into your house and is sitting on your couch and eating all your food and everything, and then you're like, hey, listen, I'd like you to leave my house, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to leave, and if you do leave, I'll get you an Uber, and I'll buy you some McDonald's and take you back home. Imagine how benevolent you'd have to be.
It's incredible. The way that the United States bends over backwards to placate this small lunatic fringe which exists here that screeches and screams anytime we enforce any type of sovereignty inside of our nation. These people should actually be ignored. We should not be setting any public precedent policy on them at all. Just because they screech the loudest doesn't mean there's that many of them. People overwhelmingly support Trump's plan to remove illegal immigrants from the nation, including people who immigrated here legally.
If they wait and say we're not going to do that,
they can come back legally after a period.
Mr. President, you've talked recently about the idea of finding some way to get farm workforce and service sector workforce. And I think you've discussed somehow a program of people leaving on a sponsorship and coming right back. Can you give us a little more detail about that and why, in the view of some hardliners, it's not amnesty?
Take care of our farmers and hotel workers and various other people. And we're working on it right now. And Ron's going to be involved, and you're involved already. So we have a lot of cases where ICE will go into a farm, and these are guys working there for 10, 15 years, no problem. The farmers know them. We're going to put, it's called farmer responsibility or owner responsibility, where they're going to be largely responsible for these people. And they know these people. They've worked on the farms for 15 years, and all of a sudden so I have a great, Ron does, Christie does, we have a great feeling for the farmer and for others in the same position. And we're going to give them responsibility for people.
Now, this is one part of the Trump administration plan that I don't care for. The idea here being that if ICE comes in and deports people who have been living here for an extended period of time, who are working on farms or in hotel hospitality, this is all lobbying groups who are getting to the Trump administration. So people don't know this, but farmers have a massive lobbying presence inside of the United States. They even set fixed prices for things like soy and corn so that everybody makes a little bit of money off of it. They fix the prices. They do all sorts of things. Huge lobbying group has been lobbying the Trump administration to keep the day laborers there so that they can pay less money. Same thing with the hospitality industry. Massive lobbying groups around the hospitality industry also lobbying the Trump administration to basically violate his promises on those. So the problem is that on the one hand, as he takes away the incentives for them to come into the nation, he creates new incentives for them to come in just by them making claims they're going to be working on farms or hospitality. And then, of course, they leave those jobs, move over to other things, get lost in the system again. And we're right back to square one, buying more plane tickets and shit for these people. So I disagree with that portion of the plan. And I think that it's all lobbyist driven.
Yeah, it's interesting how common this is in America in terms of illegals actually working. Like when me and Vinny were in Michigan, Vinny hitchhiked one day because we couldn't get around. after he like was just trying to get somewhere one day, and he started hitchhiking, and some dude picked him up. Luckily, Vinny's still with us, but the dude had like a flower farm in Michigan, and we went there another day, and there was just all of these Mexicans working there that didn't speak any English or anything. I was like, it's kind of weird, like. These people are just doing all of this farm work, and they're just obviously illegal, speak zero English.
Well, not only that, but here's the big key too, is if you go to rural USA in the small towns, you'll usually find convenience stores which are tailored towards Mexicans specifically. And you'll see them every Friday, lines and lines of them going into these convenience stores to send back millions of dollars in remittances, right? And basically they're sending millions of dollars back to their families in Mexico, a portion of that which gets sent to the cartels who brought them here in the first place. It's a massive way to fund the cartels. And they also bribe the Mexican government officials with that money. So the thing is that this is bad for us in basically every conceivable way. The fact that we don't tax remittances going back to Mexico from tax-free American dollars is insane. The fact that illegal Mexicans get a tax-free paycheck, whereas you and I do not, is an abortion of justice, a total abortion of justice.
And we're going to have a system of signing them up so they don't have to go. They can be here legally. They can pay taxes and everything else. They're not getting citizenship, but they get other things. And the farmers need them to do the work. Without those people, you're not going to be able to run your farm.
That's pure lobbyist doublespeak. First of all, you might wonder, how is it that Europe doesn't require Hispanic laborers to come in and pick all of their vegetables and fruits? You might wonder why that's the case. It's because they use technology, and they built machines for the purposes of doing these laborious jobs. And that's why they don't have to rely on undocumented laborers to come in. What's really going on is that massive farm lobbyings who demand endless amounts of subsidies and price fixing, by the way, they want subsidies and price fixing. They'll go to the United States government and tell them that they have to give X amount of dollars in subsidies or else they'll be unable to produce food, basically trying to hold all of us hostage. And then what they'll do is they'll lobby, these lobbying arms will say, hey, we will come out against you. Rural heartland American farmers will come out against you if you try to take away this, subsidized day labor force that we can basically pay peanuts to. And that is something there needs to give in a very, very big way, because we have the technology to take over most of these jobs now, at least when it comes to, picking fruits and vegetables in our own fields. So, if
the Dutch can do it, then so can you.
This is a big part of this is all lobbying, pure lobbying to the Trump administration, them caving to lobbyists.
Mr. President, you and the governor tangled pretty hard in the 2024 election. Yet you stand here now. You stand here now as partners on this effort. How would you describe the relationship, and what future does Governor DeSantis have?
I think it's a 10. Maybe 9-9, because there might be a couple of little wounds. So maybe it's not 9. I think we have a 10. We get along great.
Well, the thing about it is, I endorsed him immediately in January 2024. I raised one of his PACs millions and millions of dollars, and obviously we saved him a lot of money in Florida, because Florida was a deep red state. He didn't even have to do a rally in Florida, whereas 2016 and 20, this was like ground zero. And so we've been really happy to do that, and then we've worked very well on this and other issues with Florida. And you can call him at any time, and he wants to be helpful for governors. I mean, I can tell you that. We did Hurricane Helene last year. You didn't hear from the president at the time then, but with President Trump, we know immediately. You just make the phone call.
Yeah, a follow-up question. I'm sorry. Like another thing.
I don't know, the boots. You remember the boots?
The boots?
You remember Ron DeSantis' boots? And Trump saying these boots were made for walking?
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is that there's a distinction between the never Trumpers, never Trump, then warming to Trump in his second term because he was the demand of the people, basically flipping like J.D. Vance being one of the never Trumpers who did this, and people who had presidential aspirations and so were going head to head with Trump based on policy. If you lose fair and square, I understand why you would then endorse the candidate and get behind him, right? You're trying to do a battle of the best ideas in the ideological arena. But once they become the nominee, you really do need to get behind them. There's a big distinction between that and the people who became never Trumpers. And that's, they stayed never Trumpers, only attaching themselves to Trump's kind of political bandwagon after it became very clear that he was going to be the people's choice.
Yeah. I think DeSantis has still got a big future.
Yeah, I think he does as well. Floridians adore the guy. They seem to think that he's doing a bang up job. He's been great for gun rights there. He's been great. He's just been great at running the state of Florida. And Florida was pretty based during COVID. Florida's been pretty based. It's a pretty based state. And even one of the big things they have going for them with the types of migrants who come into Florida, who are oftentimes Cubans are based too. They're always trying to escape the throes of communism. And they're not so many generations removed that they didn't feel the effects of it. So they're pretty hard right wingers when it comes to social policy and when it comes to fiscal policy. And they think that you should be pretty grateful for everything that you have. This is, by the way, another reason why Cubans and Mexicans hate each other. Mexicans feel like they're entitled to the southwest of the United States, and Cubans think that they're basically the inferior. They're completely inferior to them as Hispanics in every conceivable way.
It's pretty funny how Hispanics operate like this. Like the Venezuelans and the Argentinians all really look down upon the Peruvians and the Bolivians and the Chileans and Colombians. They call them they call it the land of flutes and ponchos.
Yeah, exactly. True. Well, it's not just that. I remember making this point to Steven Crowder. If you want to see just how much Cubans love the United States, all you have to do is watch a fictitious story, Scarface, right? How many times did Tony Montana say, I love this fucking country, man. I love this country, man.
True.
He must have said it. Right? Even in the beginning, he's talking to immigration, telling them how much he loves the United States, right? Even the drug dealers who are here can't talk enough good about the US of A. Just pointing that out. That's been pretty big in the news. I haven't seen that many people cover it, except the mainstream news media. But the left, of course, freaking out, never skipping an opportunity to completely denounce Trump and make it sound like it was due to some sort of Republican racism, that we're trying to lock migrants up in this snake-infested alligator moat, where they can then be tortured by our jackbooted thug law enforcement agencies. And of course, when you look at the facts on the ground, it's really just a minimum security facility that has holding cells in an air-conditioned unit as they're trying to process migrants out of Florida. Florida is a swampy hellhole filled to the brim with alligators and all sorts of shit that will kill you anyway. Regardless of where you are, pretending that you're going to put people near a place that has alligators in Florida. It's like, well, that's the suburbs too. So just shut up. Makes no sense. It's a stupid talking point. But I did think I would shed some light on it, considering how many uppity Mexicans there are these days, absolutely demanding that they be able to take over the entire southwest of the United States and have some sort of blood rights to it.
Yep. Nice. I agree.
Yeah.